Switch Clicks Podcast, episode 107, recorded on October 25th, 2022. My name is Dakota, and today I'm joined by Tyler.
Hello.
And Nathan.
Gasp.
Tonight we're sharing the scariest moments in gaming that we've ever run into to kind of celebrate Halloween a bit. Zelda month is returning in November this year. Stay tuned on October 30th on our YouTube channel to check out our full reveal trailer. So we each have some scary moments that we want to share. We don't really each play horror games particularly, but these are just kind of general scary things.
I think most of them are just like
Adrenaline rush, or maybe childhood fears or something like that.
yeah, or like throwing a random overly terrifying enemy into Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. So like
Pretty much.
Sometimes happens.
Speaking of Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask, I don't remember. My first one would be, I think it's mainly a creepypasta, but just generally the model in the game is scary, and that's
Majora's Mask.
The statue thing in Majora's Mask, or what most people know as Ben Drowned.
Ben Drowned.
Okay, first of all, I don't know why that statue is made so creepy. That
it is a creepy
scarred
game,
me, and it's still creepy to this day.
Like, dude, that's Ben Drowned.
I don't even remember the context behind it. I just Googled it like a few minutes ago, and now there's like, somebody like the son of the head of a cult was gonna like worship the moon, and then they like sacrificed the boy and by drowning him. And I
what the hell?
put him into
That sounds about right.
But I don't think that was the original story. I remember it.
That sounds like a really convoluted theory.
From what I remember, Ben Drowned was originally a ROM hack made by a guy that coincided with the creepypasta. So this guy, he made a ROM hack of Majora's Mask to include all the stuff in the story, so then he can post like pictures, so it's extra realistic. But I think the general idea is the previous owner of this game drowned and his soul went into the game, so when he got the game at a garage sale, he booted it up, and at some point in the game, I can't exactly remember when, you're brought into like a creepy room with the creepy Ben Drowned model, and then it transitions into like the first Skull Kid boss fight, except it's like super hard and it's all red, and it's Ben Drowned instead of Skull Kid.
Yeah, and the file name is Ben Drowned. And
Ben
as
Drowned.
you walk around the game, like you can somewhat play the game normally, but as you walk around, you just have the statue thing popping up behind you every once in a while.
Oh my gosh.
Like an SCP or something.
Yep.
I remember when creepypastas were first coming about, I was like so scared. I never wanted to look it up or read into it, because like people would say it in like, I don't know, grade 4. They'd be talking about it, and I just like, I don't want to look that up. That's scary.
Even nowadays, it's terrifying. Search up Ben Drowned. Those photos are terrifying.
They're still terrifying. They're timeless.
You don't even have to edit the photo.
No, you just look at it.
It's terrifying.
You just stick it onto any thumbnail, and it's already terrifying.
Wait, I don't remember. What did they do in the 3DS remake? Ben Drowned in Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. That is just a model switch. That is a high-res model made by somebody else. That's terrifying.
Oh dear gosh.
Oh my gosh, I'm going into a rabbit hole.
You are. You really are.
I'm going to be put on some kind of list.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to go down that. Nathan, I assume Zelda might be on your list.
Most of the things I've encountered in Zelda seem a little more adrenaline scary rather than, like disturbing. I will say though, there are 2 dungeons in particular that really gave me unsettling vibes. Actually, 3 of them. The
The
first
water
one
temple.
is
Yeah, the water temple.
actually
That's-
the water temple didn't really scare me that much. Like even with like Dark Link standing in the fog, that wasn't really that felt more like a big anime fight was gonna start happening or something like that.
The
It wasn't
scariest thing about
it
the
wasn't
water
scary.
temple is not owning the player's guide. Am
To
I
be
right?
honest,
Quite,
okay,
that's
sure.
actually,
I guess that's
I'm
being
not
scared
sure
of
if I'm
being
right. Haven't
teased.
played the game. That's just the one thing I know is that it's a hard temple.
Yeah, more or less. Now, what is actually scary for me is actually the Forest Temple.
Hmm.
And this is particularly because this is like especially when you get to it's like the first half of the temple where you have to seek out 4 different pose, and there's this really weird vibe that you get when the room is like dark blue, like dark, and there's like this blue lighting. It's so gloomy, and then like you walk around this like staircase trying to hunt down the Poe, and then you hear them laughing, and they disappear from the portraits, and you're like, where the hell are they? Where the hell did they go? You like turn around and you think that they're gonna like start attacking you from nowhere, but it it gave me really unsettling vibes. Also because of the music that was playing. Um, it was like very repetitive and like it just got to some like really loud chaotic part of the song. I don't know how to describe it, but um it was very very repetitive in a sort of creepy way. um and also there's also those segments that where the wall masters come down and try to snag you. Those that was pretty scary too. Yeah, so it wasn't like, the horror story scary. It was just kind of that unsettling, someone's like watching you from a distance type of scary in
And
a sense.
64 Zelda games love being spooky.
I
I don't know.
know.
I guess
And
I
that
guess it kind of happens in later games, but Zelda's spookiness has kind of gone untouched in recent memory.
yeah, and that kind of brings me with to another temple. I think everyone knows what this one's going to be. It's the Shadow Temple, obviously. The music is very scary. You walk into it, and there's some like there's some ghastly music that's like it's meant to haunt you. And
Hmm.
if you played the N64 version, they have a bunch of I think they had bloodstains on there as well.
Oh, blood in my N64 game?
Yes,
That's not allowed.
that's not allowed. No, no, censor. It's gonna
I
disappear.
imagine it was censored in the remake.
Well, it
The
was,
first
but like
remake.
it still was really creepy. Like you had a
Hmm.
bunch of skulls here and there, a lot of invisible stuff. You never knew what was going to come out at you, and I've matched that with the whole like the types of enemies that you see. I think they have a couple of guillotine traps on there as well. Um, it's just an overall chaotic and mysterious temple. The music just, once again, it's even scary. It's even scarier than the Forest Temple.
Mm.
Especially trying to capture that whole dungeon vibe. Um, that's what the Shadow Temple basically is. It's like typical torture chamber type of place, medieval dungeon. So,
Uh, Shadow, don't you mean chateau? Because
oh,
my first one is the history of the Pokemon Ghost Girl, who's basically has a surprisingly long history in Pokemon, starting all the way back in Diamond and Pearl and Platinum. If you were to reach the old chateau,
oh,
randomly, when you walked into one room, there'd be a little girl who appears in a corner, and you cannot interact with her. When you leave
what?
the room, she never appears again in the game.
What?
Whoa! Oh god! Ah.
Wait, was she in the anime?
Probably. I didn't watch the
Probably.
anime.
I watched the anime segment of that actually.
Um, very scary. However, that would never happen again, right? Until
Right?
Castelia City in Black and White, where
Oh, oh,
if you go onto the Marvelous Bridge, there's a ghost
yeah.
girl who walks up
What?
to you. I don't know. I think she might give you something. Um,
Oh, that's nice.
I think she gives something and then vanishes into the mist, never to be seen again. And again, you'll never see that again, right? That's never gonna happen until Lumio City, or if you go to a
Jeez.
certain, which is probably the most famous ghost girl. When you go into
Yeah.
a certain level of a certain floor, a ghost girl appears behind you with a little teleporting thing, and slowly walks around you without a walk cycle, the spookiest thing of all. And then she walks off screen and says, "No, you're not the one," and leaves. Leaving you to believe that's never going to happen again, right? Until Pokemon Sun and Moon, which I can't find one for. If I'm being completely
dear
honest.
gosh.
I can't find the Ghost Girl in Sun and Moon. I'm probably just missing it. Until Sword and Shield, where when you're in... I actually didn't know about this one. I just found it out. According to Gamerant.com, in Sword and Shield, a player can find a young girl in Hammerlock standing near the castle above the train station. She'll task the player with delivering a note to a boy in Bologna? I don't even remember this game, apparently. Named Frank. When you make it to Frank, you realize he's a grown man, not a boy, and he'll explain he was good friends with the girl and his child, but she passed away to a fatal illness. And then you go back and she's not there. Woo!
Oh my gosh.
So
Dakota, did you know about this?
Nope.
I did not know about the Sword and Shield one. I did know about the other 4. But
holy crap.
When I originally... The main one that actually spooked me would be the old chateau in the Lumio City. Because I was like, well, Lumio City was more of a, well, that's actually kind of spooky. And then the old chateau utterly terrified me. All the ghosts there, not a happy camper, if you will. But
oh boy. That's unsettling.
I'm kind of excited to see what they do in the next game, because I feel like at this point you just can't stop putting ghost girls in.
Now, I guess going back to Dakota, is there anything else that you've kind of found that was remotely scary in your experiences?
The scariest thing of all, a poor transition. A poor
transition.
Poor segue is the scariest thing.
The second one is kind of small. It's a tiny indie game. I doubt anybody's heard of it.
Review it.
I've never played it.
Oh.
Never had the guts to actually play like 30 seconds of it. It's called Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah.
No.
Okay. When I was like basically when they were coming out, the first like 3, maybe a 4th one there.
Like when they were trending on YouTube, basically.
Yeah, I found it fun to watch those videos and like explain the lore. It was somewhat interesting in how they how Scott Cawthon designed the game. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, the animatronics, they're terrifying, straight up terrifying.
Of course they are.
And then last year when I got Oculus Quest, I decided to try the Most Wanted game. What is it called? Help Wanted. It's just a VR game that they ported.
Yeah, that one.
I tried playing it. Could not get through the second night because I was just too scared.
Too scared?
I just didn't want to get jump scared in like first person. That's way scarier.
I know the feeling. I
know it's technically Nathan's turn, but I have something that kind of leans into this. My second choice is another small indie game. It's also Five Nights at Freddy's. However, I'm going to go more into the video aspect because I didn't even play the games. I played them like a little bit. Never even played them really. My main thing was Matt Pat. I would watch Game Theory all day, every day. I subscribed to Game Theory when the first one came out, and he says like Five Nights at Freddy's is actually based on a horrible, gruesome murder in a Chuck E. Cheese, and I was like, that's spooky. And then he threw it out. And honestly, he's probably thrown out everything I've watched because there is 54 Five Nights at Freddy's videos.
54?
He has 54 Five Nights at Freddy's theories. I'm gonna see.
You can watch one every week of the year and still not finish.
For the longest time, I kind of stopped watching the game theorists, but I would still check up on the FNAF theories because I thought it'd be fun. Yeah. And I got up. When did I stop? Game Theory. FNAF Golden Freddy, not what we thought. That was the last one I watched, which is number 17 out of 54, but it goes in reverse order, so I have to do some simple calculations. So I've wasted my time watching 37 MatPat theories until I gave up and realized it would never end.
The amount of convoluted stuff in those videos is insane.
Yeah.
He gaslit me into believing every word out of his mouth. It was. I would watch a 20-minute video and I'd be like, I think that's true. Yeah, that makes total sense. He's just so his voice is too powerful.
Oh
Someone
boy.
must take it away, like Ursula in Little Mermaid. Rip the voice from his throat, not let him speak any more FNAF theories, or
Jeez.
else everyone
Oh
will
my
believe that
gosh.
William Afton is actually alive again or something.
I think what was the most recent game? I don't remember the title of the most recent game.
Security breach?
Security Breach. Yes. When that game came out, everybody was like back on the high of FNAF. I decided to go take a look on how many he's uploaded. I don't know how many it was uploaded at the time, but I went through every single video at the time in that playlist, and
Oh my
about
god.
halfway through, it just gets mind-numbingly just chaotic. From the beginning, it's like, oh, the murderer is this guy, and then he's a total different character. He has a full name, multiple children, he has an uncle, like multiple grandchildren, and like there's separate
That is
families
so
that have nothing to
convoluted.
do with it. It's crazy.
That is
I don't
so
understand how they're
convoluted.
gonna make a movie out of it. I know nowadays there's like a cult with a bunny, and the VR game introduces like William Afton's spirit is in the VR game, and once you put it on, you become a cult member, and the bunny rabbit escapes, and it's like a cult person that is trying to catch you. I don't know. There's something weird
It's
about
so
that
weird.
one.
Do not
I
remind
don't
me
know why
about Bunny.
I'm just trying to. I just want to subtitle this video, but my subtitles are generating into Korean, and I can't change it. So I guess we'll stop doing that. It's a sign. It's a sign it makes no sense.
Do you guys remember back when everyone was on that Minecraft grind? And you know that certain someone who someone decided to make, and that certain someone
No.
also ended up appearing in
You
like
can't
numerous
bring
different
him in here.
clickbait videos.
No.
I won't say his name. I won't say his name.
The one
No.
who shall not be
Don't bring him
named.
here.
The one who shall not be named. And he's been on like thousands of clickbait videos and whatnot. And I have to shamefully admit that I fell for the videos.
I mean,
And
some
I
of them
was-
are pretty scary.
I was creeped out. Like I was watching this at like 9, just 9 p.m. And like already I was pretty creeped out.
Like,
Yeah.
dude, don't bring Herr O'Brien here.
You just said his name. You just said
I
his
said it.
How do you summon him? It's something like
Oh.
sand pyramids and what was it? Redstone torches in a hallway.
Oh.
No, you had to build like it was like a 3x3 gold platform, and then have
Right.
nether rack in the middle, four redstone torches around it, and then light it on fire.
Oh yeah, there was something like that.
I remember when I saw it. It was anytime you saw one of the when the world gen creates the like kind of cross in the ground for no reason.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
that's
whenever
the
you
old
see
days, but
that-
yes.
Whenever you see that, he's near. That's what that was the thing.
I'm sure hundreds and hundreds of rumors went around schools at that time.
How to find
Mhm.
Herobrine's fortress. How to summon Herobrine. How to find the Herobrine's secret lair, and all that sort of
What
stuff.
is?
You know, recently they stopped putting that they removed Herobrine in the game in the patch notes.
He's
I
still
would
here.
He's in the
flip
game
my-
now.
He was
I would
never
start
removed.
flipping tables if he became an actual enemy.
Like a one
like-
in a million chance. That would actually be
One in a million
pretty cool.
chance, has more health and damage than like even the warden. Like instantly kills you. And
Whoa.
yeah, he would absolutely like destroy you one shot.
I
But, like,
just
you
looked
won't
up
see it coming.
Herobrine on YouTube.
Don't do it.
It's a nightmare. It and I sorted it by like highest viewed video, and it's like it's 2 animations, a Dream video, or like a Dream short. It's not even
What?
from Dream. It's a guy
Not even
using
from
Dream
Dream?
skin. Anyway, and then it's just a bunch of animations. Then you find the original 10 years ago. I found Herobrine in Minecraft PE,
Oh, like
Yeah.
and
oh,
then it gets into like the
I remember that one.
weird, like cute and funny Alexis and Daddy Herobrine #shorts #Minecraft animation, and then
gosh.
it goes oh boy, Monster School
Yeah.
Baby
Oh boy,
Herobrine.
I'm screaming
I
the same
remember
thing.
Monster School. Holy crap!
Monster School Baby Herobrine, where the thumbnail is a zombie with his like shocked eyes popping out of his head, and then a small baby Herobrine with pupils, by the way, with a troll face pooping. So I don't think I need to scroll any
No
further.
comment. No comment.
No comment. We move
That's
on.
scarier than the actual thing, honestly.
That is scarier.
Anyways, I stopped being scared after I saw this one action series where they kind of made Herobrine more of a villain rather than a creepypasta, and at that point I was like, oh well, okay, let's just look at Herobrine that way now. But you know, that's at that point I haven't really gone down into any more scary things, though I will have to say that I did manage my first real horror game that I've ever played was probably Zombie U. I only played the demo.
Oh
what
my
is
gosh.
Zombie U like? I always saw it, never picked it up.
Zombie U is your. It's like it's a first person shooter that deliberately makes you feel weak,
Interesting.
and like you
Kind
basically
of
have
interesting.
it has like scuff controls where you have to like hold the left trigger to actually pull out your gun and then shoot just like a regular just pretending that like it was like a real gun. But you don't have that much ammo, and you die pretty easily. But the game is not actually that scary. They usually just bank off of your typical jump scares. So
Yeah.
I got scared more for the adrenaline aspect because I almost died at the demo. Like I was down to my last character and I had like 1 inch of health left. That was the only scary part about it. But I don't know. The game just didn't really feel that unsettling the way that
I think the funniest thing about Zombie U is that they realized a little too late that the Wii U isn't going to be a big hit, so they rebranded and put it onto other consoles, and it's just called Zombie with an I.
Not to be confused with Zombie, the film series.
Okay. Have any of you guys heard? Well, actually, this is a lie. You 100% have heard of it because of me. Of Drawn to Life 2: The Next Chapter.
No, I've not
What?
heard of it.
What
Oh,
kind of
you
creepy
have
about
not?
a drawing
Okay.
game?
Drawn to Life: The Next Chapter is one of my favorite games of all time. Big nostalgic for me. It is a game where you play as a character you draw yourself in a world, in a like kind of very simple platformer where you draw all like the you draw like how the platforms will look and how like a gun will look, and you go around the game to stop a purple shadowy figure named Wilfrey, who is evil and sucking the color out of the world. That's not the scary part, however. The spooky thing is the end of the game. Spoiler alerts, I guess, if you want to play Drawn to Life: The Next Chapter. But the game ends with a guy, a side NPC named I don't remember what his name is. Mike. Mike, the side NPC who has no relevance to the plot. The game ends by saying, this game takes place inside Mike's coma. Mike is in a coma after a car crash. And yeah, so after a car crash, Mike is put into a coma, and after beating Wilfrey, you've saved the world, therefore letting Mike out of his coma, which also means the world no longer exists.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Like his
that's how the
world
game
doesn't
ends.
exist?
The world you're playing in no longer exists because it was inside Mike's brain while he was in a coma, but beating Wilfrey saved Mike from the coma. So the end
Sounds
cutscene
awfully
of the
familiar.
game is the credits playing over a series of painterly images of Mike waking up from a coma and like hugging his family. And I was
That
like,
sounds awfully familiar.
as a kid, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't know what this means. I just beat up the shadow guy with like Spider-Man or something. I'm happy.
Yeah.
And then I come back to it a couple of years later and go with like an understanding of, what a coma is. And I'm like, wait a minute. No way. No way this was here the whole time. And I didn't realize. So it's not entirely spooky. It's more just a strange choice that it's so weird. It's so weird.
it's-
so
but
weird,
that's
so
not-
spooky, and just an excuse for me to bring up Drawn to Life because I really like the game.
Well, I do have to say that there are other games out there that do the same thing,
Yeah,
or at
it's
least a
just
similar
so weird.
concept.
The game doesn't even remotely like. Sorry, actually, there is one bit of foreshadowing right at the beginning when like a mysterious voice is like, "Sup?" When you're making like your character is like, "Hey, bro, do you remember that night?" And you're like, "No."
What night?
And then nothing else is brought up for the rest of the game. So there's very minimal foreshadowing. So you're just playing through like a fun, happy-go-lucky platformer until it's revealed that you actually just saved a kid from a coma. Congrats! And it's like sad music's playing, and maybe made me cry, but you'll never know that, and I'll keep that to my grave. I'll keep that with me to my grave. You'll never know if I cried or
Until
not
you
at
review
the
it.
ending of Drawn to Life 2.
Until you review it.
Until I review it, which I will never review the game. My clause is I will never review Drawn to Life until we're like a really, really big channel. So then I can be the one to have the most viewed Drawn to Life video on YouTube. So subscribe if you're looking forward to that. That's my
No.
3. Pokemon, FNAF, Drawn to Life.
There is one other thing There is one other game that genuinely did scare me, and as a matter of fact, I played it pretty recently,
Oh.
thanks to a free deal from, I think, the Epic Game Store.
Hmm.
It is Alien Isolation.
Oh, I've always had access to play that game, never played it.
Probably one of the best horror games ever made out there, I think. And I gotta be honest with you, it's actually scary. They don't shoehorn in jump scares. They don't make it purely like adrenaline. It's unsettling, but you know it's unsettling because there's actually something out to hunt you. And like you're stalking through quarters, trying to stealthily travel through the ship, and suddenly you hear something in the vents, and you're like, the alien's coming. I gotta go hide. But like you have that temptation to run, but you know that if you run, you make too much noise, and then suddenly it'll go chase you and kill you instantly. And like throughout this game, I think the alien does get progressively smarter and like much more difficult to like avoid or fend off. You do get like a couple weapons in there that can scare away the alien, but it's not nearly enough that it could hold you over through the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe that there's any other horror game that will ever. I do recommend you guys try it out. You guys will probably like crap your pants instantly.
Instantly. You're telling me I'm gonna boot up the game immediately.
Yes.
Haven't even started the game
even
up,
started.
but
You see the first. You get the logo.
It is
It's a Sega logo.
That is pretty scary. A Sega logo is kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Alone in the Dark, if anybody's heard of that game. I doubt it.
No.
Me and Nathan were kind of talking about it. It's just an ingrained memory in the back of my head. Tyler, you're probably gonna want to Google a photo.
Do not
Alright.
Do not
Alone
Google
in the
it.
Dark, 1992.
Do me a favor,
It's
don't
fine.
Google it.
Don't. It will infect your computer.
I don't know where I ran into it, but I could play this game, but I didn't grow up with like any consoles, or the only thing I grew up with like is an old MacBook. So I don't know how I played this game, but it's a horror game. It's very polygonal, and a few years ago, Pro Jared made a review on it. Pro Jared. And it just like opened up so many memories. The game is just generally scary, at least to little me. Nowadays, I can see how it was scary.
We are big boys, very brave.
I think it's all about I think it's like a puzzle horror game, almost like Resident Evil, but it looks like 10 times worse than Resident Evil. You have tank controls, you're going around, random events can occur, you're getting chased by monsters, and you're like doing puzzles, you can open up secret traps. All I remember for some reason, there's something about underneath the carpet is a staircase going down in the basement, and then you get sacrificed or something. And that's a really gory scene in less than 64 polygons. I don't know. That's just terrifying to me.
This looks like one of those fake games that an indie dev makes nowadays.
Yeah, to be interesting.
To remind you of playing Resident Evil.
Yeah, the game. I don't remember how far I got, but they have full cutscenes in it. There's at the very beginning cutscene, you can see your character. He's driving up to the manor or whatever, and there's this frog on the road that goes across. And then they do a close-up shot of the frog, and it's the most highly detailed frog for one of these games ever.
Something you'd find in SpongeBob, where they have all these close-up shots.
Yeah, even worse than that.
No way, you didn't tell me the main character's a sick mustache.
Oh yeah, his polygon mustache.
4 polygon mustache, thank you very much. 1 polygon on each side.
Don't forget about his eyes.
And those are eyes.
Those are actually 4 polygon eyes. Somewhere towards the end of the game, there's this one frame that they show that the whole house or manor is possessed, and there's 4 different high quality monsters on screen. I'll have to find some screenshots, but it's actually scary.
This feels like a fake game that you've made up for the podcast, that you somehow put a bunch of Google images results.
I actually want to find this game. Oh, I found the frog! I found the frog!
You found the frog?
It's a frog too!
Was it some Getty image or something?
It says Amphibian Appreciation.
The Dark 19. Yeah, Amphibian Appreciate. That's the same. Yeah.
What is this? Oh, and the Demented Horror Manor high quality image is also here. Oh my gosh. This is terrifying. I think at the end of the game you also just burn down the manor. So
it's just like Monster House.
Yeah.
My favorite movie.
Not yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah. And then when you die, there's a super long scene of this guy dragging your body down to the basement onto this sacrificial podium almost, and they lay your body there and it's a game over.
So you played this game?
I played this game when I was little.
How? What is this
I have no idea. I'm
what
pretty
is
sure
the
it's just
age
on PC.
rating?
Okay, no, it's a PC game.
I want to replay this game.
Alone in the Dark, play it by tier when?
Nobody's ever reviewed it on Google.
Next Halloween, kind of a base Halloween video.
It's on Steam. It's 80% off on Steam.
Oh shoot! Okay, go for it.
You can get it for $3.
Includes all games. Includes the first
Review
game, a remastered first game, the second and third game. Oh my god!
Review
trilogy.
it.
Here
Do
we
it.
come.
Get it. Review it. That was an evil laugh right there.
So remember, guys, if you want to get the full switch click experience, you must fully play through Alone in the Dark, Drawn to Life, the next chapter, and Alien Isolation.
They're so different.
That's the Switch Clicks trilogy right there.
Thank you for joining us in discussing the scariest moments in gaming that we've ever ran into. We'd love it if you could follow us on Twitter and listen to future episodes on Spotify and iTunes. Join our community Discord server to continue today's discussion. And we'll see you next time on the Switch Clicks podcast.